It's about to fall. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 210 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and have you ever considered your day as the game of Jenga, where each task is a block, and depending on how you stack them and remove them, you might either win or lose? Before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode, leaving a like and subscribing really mean a lot. They're just one click, but they really make the difference. If you end up liking this format and want to enjoy a story every day, you know where the button is. So, let's start, shall we? Today's inspiration was quite trivial, but pretty much straightforward. And it came from a change of perspective on how I was seeing my day. I have to say, I was very pleased with it. Overall, I organized my tasks pretty well, and I had quite a lot to do. And I was feeling good, I knew what I had to do, and overall, just started with my day. And my problem, and the reason why I wasn't as successful as I expected, was the fact that I looked at all my tasks and all the things that I had to do today as independent blocks. So imagine them on a table. You pick one and you put it on the table, one next to each other. And bit by bit, you take one of them, you resolve it, and then you look at the rest, choose the next one, and so on. This, though, was completely faulty and was not actually what was happening. I was actually playing the game of Jenga, in my opinion, and thinking about it and seeing the results, I really believe that was the case. So, it is true that each task was representing a block, but they were not laid out on the table. They were one on top of each other. And why is that? Because once I started laying out all my tasks, there were things that had a higher priority and things that had a lower priority. Problem is that in the way that I stacked them and the way that I managed them, I was actually trying to remove the wrong things from the pile. So I was trying to go for very complicated things in a moment where I didn't have the opportunity of doing that. So those being the lower blocks that, were the foundation of my day. And on the other hand, I thought that by just removing the top bits and the easy ones, I would have proceeded normally with my day. Turns out that focusing all my effort on these high ones, gave me some blocks to take, sure, but that is not the point of the game, is trying to keep and making the opponent make the mistake. And in this case, the opponent was myself, because I was basically playing with myself, in the sense that the moment that I tried to look at the tower and actually remove one of the more difficult pieces, in this case was a task at work, I realized that from any angle that I tried to attack, this tower and overall trying to find a strategy, there was no winning one. And the moment that I tried, everything collapsed because I just felt overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that I had to do. And overall decided to skip that and just go for something that was not in the tower that I had built. So the lesson and overall what I would like you to take home from today is that when you are planning your day and when you are trying to understand what's your next move, look first at the tower, analyze it properly, and don't think that having identified the tasks, so knowing what blocks you have, is enough to win the game. That is undoubtedly your first move. You should analyze and be sure what blocks you have. But after you know that, try to plan your moves. So realize that maybe going for the harder move at the start might bring you benefit in later on. And that overall, the moment that any of these moves are not working and interacting with each other, then you might have a problem because it's enough to move the wrong block and everything falls. Problem is that once everything falls, you have to build it up, but the day has passed, you're at the end of the day and solving the entire tower is not anymore possible. So you'll have to postpone everything, go to the next day. But when you'll come back to that tower the next day, you'll see that it would have grown even more, and what I just described to you becomes even more important. So choose your moves wisely, make sure to understand how you organize them, and overall, don't think that knowing your blocks is enough, because what you want is a strategy to be able to win the game. Having said that, that was all for today. Thank you very much for listening. I really hope you like this analogy. For me, as I said so many times, I think it's the best strategy for understanding and remembering how to do stuff. Because if you just look at lists, if you just focus on written strategies and boring stuff, you will remember about it today, but tomorrow you would have already forgot. Whereas if you visualize it, in this case as a Jenga tower, and remember about it, first of all, you make it more fun, and the most important bit is that you'll remember it every single day, and the next time that you're gonna have to play that game, not the real one, but let's say the one of life, you'll be just much more successful at it. Thank you very much for listening again. If you ended up liking this episode, remember that liking and subscribing are always an option, and it's well appreciated. We are here every single day. It's been 200 plus days now, consecutively. So yeah, very proud of that. And overall, as usual, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and see you tomorrow.